What you got to say? Good morning, beloveds. That camera angle's just a bit odd. Okay. We might get yelled at because Gabby is in here. And Gabby has one volume and it's top of her lungs. So, we came home early from the park, didn't even try and do the squirrel walk. Although Dom always takes a few peanuts when he runs, so all of the squirrels we saw did get peanuts. Because there was a soccer tournament going on in the park, and by, 8:15, there were so many people in the park, we were just like, we're done, we're going home. We're going home. So, we were just like, not even. Usually, they don't start until 8. And so, but by 7, when we got there, the park was already full. All right. It is August 21st. The title is The Light of Truth is Mine. And our quote is it's from John. So, God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. And that is from 1 John 1:5. The word light is, as used in the Bible, is a symbol of spiritual illumination. It is the inner capacity in man to perceive a divine idea and to assimilate it into his consciousness. Any idea assimilated into consciousness must then express in man's experience. I now claim that the light of truth is mine. I am aglow with divine possibilities. My mind is open to the influx of spiritual ideas, and I rejoice as they enter my mind and are assimilated into my consciousness. I know that my world is filled with light, for there is only light within me to shine forth in it. There can be no darkness, no fear, no depression in me or in my experience, for God is the light of my life. All evil is dispelled and all truth is revealed. The spirit within me is my sure guide to right action. I live in light, for my mind is filled with light. Ideas appear on time and in order, telling me what to do and when to do it. With an illumined mind, I live with ease today. All good appears within me and is projected from me. This light within me is shared with my friends. I give them good counsel, great inspiration, and helpful thoughts. The Christ in me shines forth to quicken the Christ in them. My only contribution to them is one of good. No criticism, no pessimism, just the steadfast knowing that God takes care of them and his light is within them as their true guide. Wherever I go, I am a blessing to man and a joy to God. The light that lighteth every man is within me, and I share it with others. I am spiritually illumined, and I know the truth and give the truth today. All right. There's a lot in that, and I will go touch on that. But there's one thing I want to go back to really quickly, and let's start. There can be no darkness, no fear, and no depression in me or in my experience, for God is the light of my life. Okay. So let's distinguish between depression and depression, because there is a real clinical chemical imbalance that is depression. It is medical. It is hormones that are out of balance. It is chemicals in the brain that are not at appropriate levels. And so when Ernest is talking about depression, that is not what he is talking about. Okay? If you are dealing with chemical imbalances, if you are dealing with clinical depression, please do not take words like that as the as being wrong or bad, that you are wrong or bad, because you literally have an organ that is not functioning. Okay? Just like we wear glasses when we need corrections, then we go and we do. So when you hear things like that, don't take it as medical depression, okay? Take it more along the lines of, I want to say spiritual depression because that can feed into the medical depression, but I'll think about it. But that's what I want you to remember when you hear words like that. Because since I have been medicated for depression, I have been medicated for anxiety. Sometimes when I read things like that, it makes me go, but that's not the way Ernest means it, all right? No fear, no darkness, no depression. We are talking in the spiritual realm. We are talking about what is reflected in your inner experiences. And here's where I will be honest with you. I did the change in diet, the change in lifestyle. I was medicated. And what I needed was a hormonal chemical reset. And for the most part, I manage it that way. There are people whose bodies do not function that way, and for the quality of life do remain on medications, and they are not, and I will not shame them. I will not make them wrong. I want them to know that, the medication is a gift from God. So, when we talk about things like that, I don't ever want to make people feel that they have to get off medication. But I will admit that meditation and doing this kind of work did, make a huge difference in me turning that depression around. And it makes a huge difference in me managing that. So, okay? So this is part of that, but not all of it. So when you hear the word depression read like that, remember there's a difference between medical and what Ernest is talking about. And now I'm going to see if I can get the book back out from under Gabby, because she's currently sitting on it. Come on, baby girl, let me have the book. Thank you. So, all right. So the light of truth is mine. God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. And we're talking about spiritual truth. We're talking about spiritual truth. We're talking about spiritual light. We're not talking about literal darkness. Because, if it doesn't get dark at night, you can't see the stars. So that's from 1 John 1:5. So the word light, as used in the Bible, is the symbol of spiritual illumination. So we're not literally talking about the difference between dark and light, sun and, day and night. It is the inner capacity in people to perceive a divine idea. So first we got to perceive it, we got to see it, and to assimilate it into our consciousness. All right? The inner capacity in people to perceive a divine idea and to assimilate it into our consciousness. Any idea assimilated into consciousness must then be expressed in people's experience. So how do we know that we've truly assimilated what we have been learning? It shows up in our life. It shows up in our experiences. So that's how you know. And if it's not showing up, then maybe you need to go back and work on that lesson a little bit more. I now claim that the light of truth is mine. I am aglow with divine possibilities. And power statements, good statements to put in treatments when you are doing things. My mind is open to the influx of spiritual ideas, and I rejoice as they enter my mind and are assimilated into my consciousness. I rejoice as they enter. So we are open at the top. We are open at the top. We are open to new ideas. We're always open to new ideas. I know that my world is filled with light, for there is only light within me to shine forth in it. So my world is filled with light because I am open to spiritual light, and that is what I choose to shine into my world. And what I am trying to convince myself of is that's it. There is no darkness in me. It is all spiritual light. And if I'm made by God, from God, of God, then there is no darkness in me. There's nothing but light, because I'm made from light. At which point we can get into quantum physics and talk about that there's only one photon that exists. There can be no darkness, no fear, no depression in me or in my experience, for God is the light of my life. Okay, so I've already been on my soapbox about spiritual, the difference between medical and spiritual depression. So, and really, honestly, that is one of the things that helps. And it helps those of us who were on medication for short periods of time, and it helps those of us who have been on medication for much longer. Because I've been there. You know, I was medicated and focusing on, you know, and that may be one of the things, is that my idea of God is different, and it's more whole and peaceful and loving than a lot of people's ideas of God. So when I recognized God as love, then God became part of my healing. And if you grew up with a not friendly, very judgmental God, then until that changes, God may not be part of your healing. It's like, what you may want to heal, if you choose to, then heal your idea of God, and then God can become part of your healing. Then God becomes part of your light. But if you have a relationship with God, of God being very judgmental, you know, the great accountant in the sky, I can see where God would not be part of your healing. Okay, all evil is dispelled and all truth is revealed. The Spirit within me is my sure guide to right action. I know where to go for guidance. I live in light, for my mind is filled with light. Ideas appear on time and in order, telling me what to do and when to do it, because I'm open to the guidance. I'm open to the guidance of Spirit. And I use that word Spirit. Sometimes being open to the idea, the open to the guidance of God, can be overwhelming. Spirit is one of those words that's, okay, no, I can handle this. And maybe that's why the Catholics broke it up into, you know, God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. Because sometimes the idea of God can be overwhelming. And Spirit just seems a little more on the level and friendly. I don't know. So change your terminology, because the words have meaning to you. If a word doesn't feel right, then find the word that does. And there are, you know, how many people are there in the world? That's how many words there are for God. It's only when we have conversations that we have to agree on terms. With an illumined mind, I live with ease today. All good appears within me and is projected from me. So, I recognize that illumined mind. Oh, she's in the window, thumping on the window. Okay, I was trying to figure out what that sound was, which you probably can't hear. The light within me is shared with my friends. The light within me is shared with my friends. What better use could I make of the light than to share it? I give them good counsel, great inspiration, and helpful thoughts. So good counsel, great inspiration, and helpful thoughts. And that comes from a place of love. But that also comes from a place of, you have to remember when you're doing this to do what's best for them, not you. When one of my friends came to me and said, hey, I have this job opportunity, but it means I need to move to San Antonio, my inward response was, oh God, he's gonna leave. And my outward response was, go for it. And that's love. Love is doing what is best for people, and remember that they are it's subjective, and they have thoughts and feelings of their own. They are not objects, and it's not all about us. So when we give good counsel, great inspiration, and helpful thoughts, that's what we have to do. We have to take ourselves out of the equation and do what's best for them. The Christ in me shines forth to quicken the Christ in them. And that, the love in me, that's another way to read the sentence. The love in me shines forth to quicken the love in them. My only contribution to them is one of good. No criticism, no pessimism, just the steadfast knowing that God takes care of them. And God's light is within them as their true guide. Knowing that they will make the right choice because they have the best guide possible. The best guide possible. And that no criticism, no pessimism, just steadfast knowing. How many of us have to bite our tongue? Because when we have what we might frame as criticism or pessimism, one, with criticism, we can find ways to frame it to help them without hurting them. And that's the difference between constructive, and I'm not even going to use words, constructive information and criticism. And then pessimism, It's like there's an old Scooby-Doo episode where Velma says, this isn't going to work. And Daphne says, why can't you be positive? And Velma says, well, I'm positive this isn't going to work. Don't do that. Even if you don't think it's going to work, then if you want to offer ways that you might improve, then find a kind way of doing that and support them, because even if what they're doing doesn't work out the way that they expect, it's still going to work out some way, and they're going to learn something, so they're going to get something out of it, as long as they're not going to hurt themselves. I mean, I draw the line at that. It's like, no, I don't think you should do that, and this is why. I'm going to give you good, logical, you can hurt yourself reasons. I'm not going to give you good, logical, this is going to hurt me reasons. Unless, physical danger. All right. Wherever I go, I am a blessing to people and a joy to God. Do you get up out of bed and say that to yourself? Try it. Wherever I go, I am a blessing to people and a joy to God. Because if you are a joy to God, then you are going to be a blessing to people. Period. And you don't have to do anything other than be the brilliant light soul that you are. All right? You never underestimate the power of a smile to a stranger. I am spiritually illumined, and I know the truth and give the truth today. And the truth doesn't harm. I am not going to say that the truth doesn't hurt, because sometimes it does, but the truth doesn't harm. All right? So when you are giving the truth, keep that in mind. Because if the truth harms, it's not truth, and it is ego. It is not spirit. All right, our mission today. Should we choose to accept it? Well, I'm not going to choose that one. We do way enough of that as it is. Oh, okay. Here, our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to claim that the light of truth is ours, that we are aglow with divine possibilities. Our minds are open to the influx of spiritual ideas. I think that is an excellent mission. And it is a good mission any day. Claim the light of truth. Know that you are open to the influx of divine ideas and open to spiritual possibilities. That's the mission. All right, beloveds. As I always do, I do encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like, whatever it is. Today, that looked like preserving myself and my husband, and not doing a squirrel walk because I didn't want to walk through that absolute just bunches of people. It was like, there's too many people, I can't do this, I want out. So we did. We came home early. All right, beloveds, whatever it is that you need to do, and sometimes that's what kind, compassionate love for yourself looks like. It means going and being somewhere quiet and by yourself. And sometimes it means being with a crowd of people. Today, Yep. Nope. No crowds of people for me. All right, beloveds. I have engaged my mind and my body. I do encourage you to do so. It's warm, so please do it early, or do it somewhere cooler than I do. Because, I like to run in the park. Drink plenty of water. Take care of yourself. Do what you need to do. Get that face full of sun. And see how it resets you. It's one of the things that does help with hormones. We talked about hormones. So, whatever you're going to do today, know that you're loved. Take care of yourself. Be loving, kind, and compassionate with yourself, because you are a beloved child of God, in whom which God is well pleased always. It's a state of grace. It is a state of grace. So while you're in that state of grace, open the windows of your soul. Allow that breath of heaven that blows through those open windows, because that's what we talked about today, opening up to the possibilities. Allow that breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven now. It's all around you. It's all around you. It just takes your willingness to look for the good. As Emma likes to say, look for the good and praise it. Because when you do that, you get more good. All right, beloveds. I'm going to commence my day off. I encourage you to do what it is that you will need to do to make it the best day, the fantastic day, the amazing day, the wonderful day, the good day. And as always, if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. All right? Know that you're loved. Reverend David should be on Facebook Live around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back at 9 a.m. And then since today is Saturday, that means we'll have a service for you at 11. And I will remind you, we are available in person and online. We are going to continue to do the Facebook Live and have that up later on YouTube. So please feel free to check out the YouTube, the Creative Life Spiritual Center. Or if you want to get on our newsletter, email info@creativelife.org. And my YouTube, which is where these go, is the Running Rev Ryan. All right, beloveds, take care of yourself and know that you're loved. I will see you next time.